Um, there is a series of videos that I do on my YouTube channel. I have titled them Let's Learns. They're just really informal learning sessions for particular things. And I was getting a lot of questions this week and last week about, excuse me, about basing a miniature. So I want to show people how I do it, and give a good reference point for that, as well as maybe show a really good product. Just saying. Um, so, so we're gonna do that, and then we are going to test out. I have received my Kickstarter rewards from the P3 paint line release, the re-release. I have 10 colors here, all ready to try out. We're gonna give them a go and see. So stay tuned for that. We'll be taking a look at that at some point. Um, but yeah, I hope everybody's doing good. Um, the models that I have lined up for today. Let's get the paint screen going here. The models I have lined up for today, we're gonna test the P3 paints on the Missile Toad. It is a toad with a missile strapped to its back. I'm here for it. Um, just kind of a fun model to do some paint testing with. Nothing serious here. And then for the basing, I worked on a BattleTech Mini this week to test out some of the Dirty Down products. I was messing with Dirty Down Rust quite a bit. And this is the BattleTech Mini we have to take a look at that. The camera is really washed out. No worries. I appreciate it. Either way. I'm just glad to have you here, really. Is is uh is the truth of it. Can we There we go. That's a little better. That's a little better. Okay. So let's zoom in here, see what we're working with. This is the BattleTech Mini that I finished up painting on Wednesday, I believe. So this is what we're working with. Let me change the music a bit. There we go. So this is the mini that we'll be working with tonight. Was messing with the Dirty Down Rust. I think I like it a lot. The color scheme for this mini was just kind of thrown together. It has very like 90s Nerf gun vibes to it, but I'm kind of here for it. Uh, it felt good to finish this up too, because I started painting this at the hobby shop a few months ago with my daughter, so we finally got that done. Um, did a little bit of jetpack flame just to stretch my wings. I've still got some hand paint that I'm working through, so this is not my best work, but um, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Um, I'm pretty happy with the front lens though. I like that, the inner glow of red. But this is the mini we're gonna base for our Let's Learn. So we'll be working with that, and then again a little bit closer, the Missile Toad. This is a print from someone that I don't particularly want to plug, because the quality has been hit or miss. Um, but this one is pretty solid. Pretty excited about it. So this will be a good test model for our paints. We've got a good paint line. It should allow us to mix whatever we want in that starter kit. So we'll get to see how those P3 paints works. I've heard a lot of good things about them, but I've never used them. So we'll see. Okay, let's get started, huh? Let's get started with our basing. So the way I do my basing is pretty product dependent. I lean on a particular product pretty heavy, but you can do this with any mixture. You can make your own mixture if you want. Essentially, what it boils down to is you put glue on the base, and then you swirl it around in here. This is a product by Geek Gaming Scenics. It is called Ready Basing. It is this very consistent mix of different sized but very consistent colored of a bunch of different rocks and grits and stuff. This one is pretty straightforward, pretty basic. Um, you could gather something like that on your own. Um, totally possible. Uh, however, when it comes to like the more like interesting stuff, like for example, this is what uh, this is what Mayhem chose for her Eldar. So this is what we'll be basing all of her Eldar stuff in. And you can see it's got the grit in it, but it's also got some flocking in it. This one has some sand and some crystally looking rocks and stuff. It very well varied in stuff like this. They have a bunch of different mixes in their catalog. They do have a US site as well, although I think they're kind of low in stock right now. But keep an eye on that if you're interested in any of this. So that's going to be doing the heavy lifting. I'm also going to be utilizing a couple different products. I'm going to be utilizing their fast drying basing glue to get the stuff down. Once it's down on the Mini and organized how you want it, I don't use their sealant. I just use a PVA glue that's watered down like 6-to-1 or 5-to-1 water to glue. You just get Elmer's school glue. The white stuff dries clear, and it will lock all of those basing pieces in exactly where you put them. So between the basing glue to get it stuck on there and this to really solidify it, this stuff isn't going anywhere. So it's a really solid basing option, really fast, and there's not really much else to say about it. It's just really solid. So normally I would put like a couple rocks down. Where'd it go? Here we are. Like Azrael, I had a couple of these rocks glued in where I wanted them, the bigger ones, just so that they would end up exactly where I wanted them to. On my knights that I just rebased, I had some particular stones that I really liked, that I put on that base ahead of time. I just super glue those down. In fact, you know what? Why don't we do it for this anyway? Since this is a learning vid, we'll just pick a rock, glue it in. Another thing, if we're gluing on rocks, let's go to this container from I don't even remember where it's from. It's just a container of decorative filler rocks. And I've had this for years, and I'm only this far into it. Like, maybe 1/4 inch from the top. Already I see that one I like. Fairly large, which is good. Got a flat side. Does this one? Not really. Ooh, that one does. We'll use that one too. You do get some bigger stones in some of these Geek Gaming Scenics mixes, but I am not going to use them. In fact, a lot of times I pick them out of the mix because it's a little less consistent when you have big chunks in there. So I avoid those. I keep them off to the side. So grab our super glue here. And what I'm going to do... Swag, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some super glue. I'm going to glue this cool looking one on because I like it. And I'm just going to super glue it to the base. Around the Mini. I think we're going right towards the front here. There we go. And we'll just glue that in. Oh, it rocks a little bit, but that's okay. We just need it to hold tight for now. And we'll do the same thing for this other stone, maybe. You can put the glue right on the base if you know exactly where you want it. Grab it with some tweezers and just plop it in there. Now we've got to wait for that to dry just a little bit. Those rocks are big enough for Battletech scale too, which is good. You got to remember these things are like multiple stories tall, so you don't want to put like tiny stuff on their base. I wish there was an easy way to have like scale trees. That'd be pretty dope on here. But I do not have that. I'm sure there's a way that you could 3D print something like that, but I do not have any. So we're going to let that cure for just a minute. But let's prep our glue mix here. This is just, again, Geek Gaming Scenics fast drying basing glue. This stuff dries really rubbery, which is nice. You can apply it and let it sit. Some people do. I don't bother because I'm going to seal it all in anyway. So I'm not too worried about how tacky the bottom of the glue is. Just needs to be there enough to get everything sealed in. So we've got our glue. We get a beater brush and add just a brush tip full of water. Not a ton, because then it gets too runny. Just like half a drop of water. And we'll get that all mixed up together. I probably poured more than I needed to. But the cool thing about this is that if you put it in your silicone cups, it will pull everything out of there. So you just pull the glue out when it's dry, and you've got brand new working space. Now, once you get into this, time is kind of against you. So, if you have a rather large base, I would do it in pieces. But for something like this, we're going to do it all at once. And all you do, paint that goop on there. You want it to go everywhere where you want basing material. And if you get some on the sides, you can just kind of swipe it away. Again, it is not necessary to have Geek Gaming Scenics mixing for this. You can go out in your driveway and gather a bunch of stones. You can go to the local park or whatever. But I do appreciate Geek Gaming Scenics for the consistency. So I'm reliably getting, the same color mixtures, the same size material. It's reliable in that way. So that's why I would go for a premixed product like this. But if budget is a concern, or you don't necessarily care about the consistency of it, then there are cheaper ways to do this. But I think it's like last time I checked, it was like $8 for a bag of this mix, which is not all that bad. It does come in a bag though, so I would highly recommend getting like a takeout container, solid takeout container like I have here, to put it in. Now your edges will start to dry, so you might have to go back over those a little bit. Make sure you get under the feet if you want it there. And it's alright if you go a little bit up onto the feet of your models. Because chances are you're not going to notice. Alright. So we've got as complete coverage as we can get. Now all I'm going to do is take this model here Move this in and just dip it in there and kind of kick some stones up on it. Raja, how you doing, man? Got me on lurk? Enjoy. Appreciate you being here, my friend. All right. So you kick all that up on there. You want a good mix of sizes to make it more realistic. And you just want to let it set for just a little bit. You don't need to let it set for super long. Obviously, the longer you let it set on there, the more stable it will become because it'll get stuck into that glue. But we really don't care about that in the long run. It's just there to get things sort of anchored, and the more it cures, the better that will be. But what we're really concerned with is the sealing with this PVA glue, which is really where the strength in it is going to come from. Yeah, you can swirl it around in there. I am too paranoid I'm going to scratch the paint on my model. So that's why I don't do that. But I know plenty of people that do. All right. So now that you've got it there, if you tip it, stuff will fall off, which is fine. In fact, you probably want some of it to fall off. Glue it, or I'll stick it back on my paint handle.
My sensors indicate a new test subject has entered the Twitch chat. I wonder what kind of variables they'll add to my research.
I don't know, GLaDOS. You'll have to ask them. Ask them to test on them. That's what I'm saying. How you doing, Shiny Mew? It's good to see you. Okay. So once you do that, the sealing, this is just watered down PVA glue. Some people will say to spray it with isopropyl. I don't bother. You just soak that base with this material. And I did shake this up beforehand, so it's all good there. But you do want to give it a good shake, because otherwise it will settle out real bad. And we're just going to make sure that all of this base and all of this basing material is wet. And that will make sure that all of this stays on there really nice and solid. I'm not getting good lighting here. There we go. And we'll just let that soak into all that stuff. We do have some rocks and stuff up on the mech itself. We could seal that in there if we wanted to. I wouldn't suggest doing it with PVA. But you can get some stuff that will seal it in there, like weathering pigment fixer or something that won't make a film on the surface of your model that you can use for that. But now, as you can see, this is all wet, all soaking wet through with glue. Once that dries, I recommend overnight. That basing will be stuck fast. And you can see how it just kind of absorbs everything into it. It's perfect. And really, once that's done, the only thing you can go through and do is like dust off the feet, the legs, where there's stuff that you may not want on the Mini anymore, where you might have gotten a little overzealous with your basing flinging. Oh, it'd help if I was doing it on camera. And then once that dries, you can clean up and paint the base, and yeah, you're good to go. That is basing material 101. Again, you can do this with mixes from anywhere. It doesn't have to be Geek Gaming Scenics. You don't have to use their glue. You can use regular PVA glue to start. I just like this stuff because it dries a little rubbery, and anything that dries rubbery over hard and brittle will absorb shock a little better, and it won't come popping off your model. But yeah, you can go out in your garage or your local park and find similar stuff. Um, you can mix and match. Some people, I know my Votan, I have a dark mix for them that I've mixed in some little gems with. So every once in a while, their basing will pick up a blue gem, and that's just kind of the vibe of my Votan. So, um, yeah, that's it, really. Super easy to do. Um, Highly recommend basing your models. It does give them that little bit of extra. And when it dries, again, it will look like this Azrael here. And that's your end result. Ignore the painted rocks. I painted the rocks before I chose the basing. But that's what it'll look like in the end. It's going good, Shiny Mew. It's going good. How are things for you? That final environmental effect. Exactly. Welcome in, Studio Boneless. How you doing? Um, yeah. And you can get... So, you can go even crazier with it, and you can make your own basing texture paste. And with drywall mud and water and PVA glue and sand and stuff. I used to do that. I used to do that a lot. It can get you results like this once you paint it. Which this is not a bad base, right? This is pretty solid base. I just didn't like the lack of consistency I was getting with it. So, not gonna complain about this. This gives a good result, but I found something I like better. So, and this poor Chaos Tech Marine is never gonna get painted. There are products. Places make products like this. Vallejo makes a bunch of texture pastes. I would recommend this over anything GW has just because of the cost differential. This stuff costs maybe the same as like two of these little pots. I think is the price difference there. Um, your money's so much better spent in something like this. And this is good for like filling in cracks between cork, between bark pieces that look like stone. Um, that's what this base is actually. This base is a piece of cork that I put texture paste over and then painted. So that's the height difference there is a piece of cork. Um, yeah, texture paste also a good tool. As I just mentioned, cork material, great to make height variants. And then you slather some basing material on it. You glue some of this on there. You do tufts and things like that. Can really hide that cork texture. Jeffrey Bezos, hey! Jeffrey Bezos,
Jeffrey Bezos. Almost 2 years.
Cheers, G-Sides. How you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for the resub and for the Prime sub. I know you get one of those a month. I am stoked that you spend it here, man. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Baking soda makes an excellent scale sand when mixed with PVA. I've never tried it. I'll have to give that a shot. 2 years, my dude. Close enough. I'm calling it 2 years. It's good to see you, man. I hope you're well. I hope your trip was well. I'm excited to play Warhammer in a week. Each of the Vallejo jars will get you about 200 to 300 bases, which will ensure a consistent result across large army projects. Indeed. Indeed. Oh yeah, Nurgle all over me. I'm excited for it. But yeah, so there's tons of different basing materials. You can just glue sand onto your base and it's totally fine. Um, you know, it's totally up to you how deep you want to go into the basing game. Um, Plenty of different people make tufts. I really like. Oh, who made the ones for Kelsey's nids? Where are they? I mean, I've used Army Painter.
Show me what you got.
Indeed, Shiny Mew. I will take a look as soon as we're done with this basing situation. Don't let me forget. Uh, so I've used a bunch of different tufts. Obviously, I've used Army Painter. Everybody's used an Army Painter tuft. I found these on, I think, Amazon that are kind of like no name, and these look good. They got different colors on them. Oh, what is that manufacturer? I cannot think of the brand that I had for Kelsey's. Well, I've used some Rival Craft tufts before too. These are not bad. I got these in a giveaway from a stream. These are solid. Uh, Gamer's Grass. That's what it is. Thank you, Dork Depot. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Go through a jar per Old World army. Yeah, Swag. 200 to 300, depending on your game and depending on your army, is not that many models. I mean, it's large, but it's still achievable. Nice. Okay. You're gonna have to pick one of them, Shiny Mew. I can't be looking through Discord all night. Um, yeah, bunch of different people make tufts. Bunch of different people make flocking. If you want to get into static grass, that's a whole other thing. Um, but really, if you're looking for a solid tabletop standard, a pre-mixed basing material like this, you can't go wrong with. You slap the glue on the bottom, you swill it around in there, and you're good to go. So, um, ooh, this is applicable. You're sponsored by Gamers Grass now. Nice, Dork Depot. That's awesome. They make fantastic product. Dork Depot, if you wouldn't mind, do you have a affiliate code that people can use at their site to get a little bit of bonus off? How does that work? How does that work? Static grass, Vallejo mud equals perfect ripped up grassy battlefield. Yeah. So I would recommend, depending on your project, just playing around, just finding different basing products, seeing how they feel. If you need any suggestions, obviously drop it in the Discord. We're happy to give our experience with them if we've used them before. But yeah, base your models. It's super easy, super easy. Even if you do what I did here today with Elmer's or PVA glue and mud, or not mud, sand. Even if you just do that, it gives some sort of texture on there, right? And then you can start messing around. Nice, Dork Depot. Hey, let us know, man. Let us know. Yeah. Like I know to that point, Studio Boneless, I know that what is it? PVA glue and super glue? Like gel super glue make like a kind of goopy, snotty texture when they dry together. Um but you can get it through warm. Okay, cool. Cool. Dork Depot, put it in the promo channel in the Discord. Yeah. So, all right. Before we move on, anybody have any other advice for basing? Because this is our Let's Learn. We want to get as much information out there as we can. I think my biggest thing for basing is don't buy Citadel basing unless you want to go broke. Because again, need I say more? This is the base. This is your basing. This is the basing she tells you not to worry about, right? That lovely meme. But yeah, Dork Depot, we ended up basing this Battletech Mini. Just kind of, we're recording some video for our Let's Learn on the YouTube channel. But we were talking about basing materials and what you use and just to base your minis because it's super easy and it makes them look cool. This is very wet right now, so it looks wet, but it will dry. It will dry and look arid. Size matters confirmed. In basing material, bet your ass it does. Bet your ass it does. When do you paint the rim? I will paint the rim tomorrow when I'm certain that glue is dry. I just generally let it go overnight and then the next day I'll glue it up.
You, but you're terrible. You're all terrible.
Thank you, Mayhem, for the gene. How you doing, my dear? AK basing mud is good. I've heard good things about AK. I've not used it. I have also used where is it? I have too much crap in this drawer, chat. I have also used this stuff. This particular glass bead gel is weird. It's very weird. I'll show it to you. It's like alien. Oh, it's not even gonna show up on camera. Oh, maybe it will if I do it like that. It's very like.
Do you have a tutorial on rimming, or should I just
weird.
Google rimming?
You should Google it, Dork Depot. I think you'll get better results there. But yeah, it's very like alien egg-esque texture. I have not obviously used it very much, but it's fun to play with. But this stuff too, this Galleria acrylic mediums, they have some interesting stuff too. So check them out. Gardening was less than relaxing, I can imagine. I'm a fan of mixing rocks with Vallejo ground texture. Gives some more actual texture. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is mix all of this crap together. Mix all of it. You know, have fun with it. It's basing can feel like a chore, but it is one of the more creative aspects of this hobby. And while I'm going through the pile of junk in my drawer, this is I don't know what the status of this is, so we're gonna discover it together. This is a texture paste mix I made out of drywall mud, glue, water, and sand. Oh, it's fine. It's still usable. And it's got this sort of consistency to it. You just smear it on the mini, give it a paint, and you're good to go. But this was literally free to make. I took some sand that I had kicking around, some like I didn't actually use drywall mud for this. I used dried up drywall mud and broke it into pieces and soaked it in water. And then some school glue that we had around the house and some water. And that was it. And you can use this for texture paste. You don't even need to seal this stuff because the glue's right in it. So, but it works great and it's a very cheap option. Is it going to look like the Geek Gaming Scenic stuff? No, obviously not. They're two different products, but you know, it'll be enough to base your miniatures in. You know what? I'm going to give that some more water because it's starting to dry out. AP Sand. I have not used any of the Army Painter basing, like... Oh, wait. No. I have. I lied. I think everybody has at some point, right? Like, what is it? I have some over here somewhere. In my friggin' pile of stuff. Oh, here's another tip, actually, chat. If you are looking for if you're looking to make like wooden bases, like wood slat bases, coffee stir sticks. They're super cheap, they're super plentiful, and they take speed paint like stain. So if you get a dark brown, if you want dark brown wood, just take a dark brown speed paint, slap that over the top, boom, you're good. And these are like $5 for a massive box of them. Can highly recommend this stuff. Airbrush lunch and learn. I'm not good enough with an airbrush to be able to teach anybody how to use one. I don't think I have enough skill for that, to be honest. Like, and that's not me trying to, that's not me trying to dunk on myself. I just don't have experience enough. I think what we need to do for airbrush tutorials is find a good one online. But yeah, I hope this gets you to try basing your models if you never have. If you've been one of those people that just paint the base, I highly encourage you, get a little creative, take a couple of spare bases that are kicking around, and just experiment with some stuff. There's some really cool effects paints out there. There's some really cool crackle paints. You paint orange underneath and you slop the crackle paint on top and it looks like lava underneath. It's just, there's so much cool product out there. There's so many cool techniques out there. This is just literally the easiest way to do it. You can get like barbed wire and embed that in your bases to look like it's coming out. Like, there's so much you can do. And it is a lot easier than you might think it is. So I hope that this convinces you to do that, to give it a try if you haven't already. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking me how to do this. Because I think that the basing on a miniature just pulls it right together at the end. Like, you can finish it and it's kind of like, all right, this is a really nice paint job, but the base is just meh. And then you base it and it just pulls everything in tight and it looks great. AP stuff is red gravel. I'll have to look and see. I know I have some of their products. I just can't remember what I did with them. They're somewhere. I couldn't tell you where. Oh, hey, right here. Wrong drawer. This is the Army Painter stuff. It's lighter weight. It will blow away if you breathe on the container. But the cool thing with Army Painter is it is a little expensive. This was a gift. This was a gift for me. But and that's kind of the tax you pay for a lot of Army Painter stuff, is the the hobby tax from their stuff. The other thing that Army Painter has that I actually do find a lot of use in is stuff like this. And again, hobby tax, right? But this stuff is like, it's like a moss, but it comes out in like these pieces. And you can glue this to the side of a building. You can use it on a base. This stuff worked really well. I had a mini that, actually, it's right behind me if I can go find it. Give me a second, chat. I'll go find it. Are you... Now, excuse the paint job because it was a while ago. And excuse the dust because it's been a while since I've grabbed this off the shelf. But this is that same material painted with like a purpley reddish color. In fact, I think I used 2 different speed paints to paint that. So I glued it down. I painted it with the red and with the purples. And then I put gloss varnish over it. And it gives that War of the Worlds Bloodvine stuff effect to it. So, again, experiment with stuff. Really. Your biggest hurdle when doing basing stuff is that you need to make sure it's inert. So don't use food that's gonna rot. Don't use salt because it's first of all it dissolves in water, and second of all it's corrosive as hell. Don't use sugar. That's how you get ants. Some people use tea, out of a tea bag, like crushed tea leaves. I've never tried that, so I don't know. But there's a ton of stuff you can use. And I think the last thing worth noting is UV resin. Obviously, if you want some water effects, UV resin is going to be your best bet. The stuff is toxic as hell. It's disgusting to work with. It's you need special light. Wear a respirator, wear gloves, wear glasses for the UV light. Like, do all the things to protect yourself with UV resin. That being said, it looks really cool. It looks really cool. I haven't forgotten Shiny Mew. Don't worry. Don't worry. Again, this is video for the YouTube, so we're going through that, and then we'll get to your stuff. Don't worry. Yeah, that stuff, Raja, is handy. It is handy. It's just expensive. If you can get on a deal, I'd say go for it. But for what it is and how much of it you use, there are better alternatives. Like dirt from your backyard. Oh, if you do use dirt, toss it in the oven for a while so that you kill any bugs and parasites and anything else that might be in it. Yeah, I suppose it does last quite a while. I guess you can't really say that it doesn't. So yeah. Still have most of the container. That's fair. That's fair. It just I struggle. I struggle with it, because like I see this was a container from Geek Gaming Scenics. This was a single bag of pine forest that I got for my crew. I used a bit of this for I think I've done 15 Kroot models in this. So this is pretty much what you get in a bag, right? This is pretty much what you get in a bag. This container is I can't show off how full this container is. This container is pretty full still. Little less than halfway. I'd say a bag would fill this container halfway because I can put 2 of their containers into one of these just barely. That was $8, right? And that Army Painter container is much smaller for when it was bought for me, $5 to $6. So it's the price difference is big with Army Painter stuff, but also you got to order that online. It probably won't be in your hobby store. So there's plus and minus to it. The plus of Army Painter is that it's pretty much available everywhere. Blue, can you show a base with just texture paint on it again? So this base is a base with a piece of cork on the higher part here, but this is all that texture paste that I made. This isn't even like a good texture paste. Because if I was better educated at the time, I would not have put it on the sides. I would have left the bare cork on the sides and made it like a like damaged stone or something. Gosh, this is dusty. Oh boy. Ignore that. That gives it character. Big fan of using Milliput either by itself or mixed with stuff like the gravel. Ooh, it's not a bad idea, Raja. Using Milliput to form kind of like the rough shape and then having the texture in it. That's not a bad idea. I like that. All right, we'll mark it there. We'll call that the end of our Let's Learn. But chat, if you have anything else, throw it in the Discord. We'd love to see your ideas, see what you're working on, see your take on basing material. And keep an eye out. I will post this little section to YouTube so that people can reference it if they need to. And if you have anything else you want to learn, definitely throw it in there. I am happy to do all the things. So whatever you want to learn, throw it in the Discord. We'll take a look at it. If I have any experience with it.